So, Tom, I've not played anything this week. You've played very little this week.
I played enough.
You've played enough. Mm-hmm. Interesting philosophy you have there. But we still have to do a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, fasten your belts, because this podcast is about to get loose. It's Tom Matt Attack. Enough games, Tom. How much is that in a quantifiable term for the podcasting listener?
3.
Okay.
I think that's 3, that I could say I've played a great deal of.
Okay.
Okay, but I've played something. I talk about the games I picked up in Horsens the other week, Matthew.
We did indeed. We came from
I hadn't
Horsens.
played them at that point.
You had not, Thomas.
Okay, you're in for a treat, Matthew.
Oh, drumroll. Which of those quality titles?
King. Speed King for PS2, everybody, is a great motorcycle game.
Okay.
It's developed by Climax, who we briefly mentioned last week did the MotoGP games, at least to a point. I think that another studio took over eventually. But it's a real fun, sort of reminds me of Burnout in its arcade style.
Really?
Yeah. So it handles really well. First of all, they've got the bike physics. And you don't always find this in motorcycle games. It actually feels like more simulation-based motorcycle games.
Interesting, because
but it's got an arcade feel. You just got a bit of weight to it. The bike would handle like you'd expect a motorcycle to. Okay. Which is a little different than Road Rash, for instance. Okay.
Yes.
So first of all, that's great. It's colourful. Graphics are nice. Incredibly fast. Got a few unique things going on in it, actually.
Like what, Thomas?
Well, there may be a truck in the middle of the road. And you're like, how am I going to get past this truck? Well, you get an opportunity to slide under it. Press the right button. You've got a special button for the slide. So you have to just keep aware of what's going on in order to avoid hitting it.
Okay.
That's quite cool. When you get a speed boost, that's good. I think you get near misses on cars sometimes, and you feel like you get an extra bonus, like a speed boost and things like that. It feels a little like that. I can't remember how exactly the mechanics work there, but it's incredibly satisfying, well put together racing game, which I suggest anybody who has any interest in racing games or wants something motorcycle based on their PS2, arcade style.
Yeah.
Then this is a great little package. When
you say like the physics are there and they're not usually there.
Yeah.
Are they PlayStation 2 standards of physics?
No. Well, they're good. As you would expect if you were playing on a more powerful system. It's just well developed. It isn't. It's someone who understands motorcycle.
Okay, fair enough. So if you're into motorcycles, get that then.
Not that I've ever ridden a motorcycle, Matthew. I'm not trying to pretend that I have, but I've played simulators, and this felt pretty good.
So I was actually listening to a podcast earlier about Foley artists, and they were talking about how our expectations of what we hear when we hear a nature documentary are actually kind of off. It's a 99% Invisible podcast. I recommend people who are interested.
99%
Invisible. It's a podcast about design. It's Roman Mars. It's very popular. I'm sure some people.
It's from Mars.
No.
Sorry.
The man who presents it, his name is Roman Mars.
Sorry.
Anyway, they're talking
name.
about. It is. It's an amazing name. He also has a very much a voice for radio.
Okay.
Anyways, they're talking about on this podcast about how if an elephant walks, you'd expect it to go boom, 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 boom. Elephants are actually very soft-footed because they have very fat legs, and so their feet are very cushioned.
Yeah.
And so our expectations of watching every nature documentary under the sun has led us to believe that elephants would walk very heavy because they're very heavy, and when you see actual elephants walking and hear the actual sound, it's very jarring.
That in documentaries they add Foley
to
elephants.
Yes, they add Foley to everything in documentaries because there's no way in when they're filming lions on the savannah, they get close enough. So they're using like ultra telescopic lenses.
Oh my gosh! So it's all a farce.
We don't really know
what animals sound like.
Exactly. We do know Well, roughly, like, if David Attenborough is next to that monkey, Tom, you will know what that monkey sounds like.
Like that, yeah.
But sometimes if David Attenborough is not near that monkey, it'd be like, "Oh, oh, oh, oh," and that will be another monkey that they've recorded somewhere else, and then they've put the monkey sound on top of. My point being, Tom,
Wow. Kind of like dubbing movies.
that you believe this game to be a realistic motorcycle game in the
Motorbike.
same vein. In most people think that an elephant walks really loudly.
Come on. I'm not stupid. When you play Road Rash or Hang On, you tilt the bike, you feel no weight to the bike,
Yeah.
You don't feel like it's, holding up on a... It's very hard for me to describe this feeling of playing the physics of a motorcycle game, but you feel the weight of the person on the bike,
Yeah.
and the bike itself isn't...
So you're
How
telling me...
am I going to explain this?
Are you telling me the satisfaction I feel when I punch someone off a bike in Road Rash isn't real?
I'm saying Road Rash is a great fun game, but is the handling anywhere near realistic? No, it's not.
No, because I'm pressing an A button to go and a B button to stop.
Just play Speed King. You might like it.
Okay, fair enough.
But that's I'm trying to preach to the you don't like racing games.
I do not like racing games. No, I like my Mario Kart.
Well, this is
like
fine. I mean, if
a
you like
little bit of
Mario Kart,
Burnout.
you might like this.
You know-
Burnout. Matt, you might like this. This might be the motorcycle game for you.
Okay, we put that on the back of the box. The motorcycle game for Matt
That
Boyle,
was
Tom
hard
Parry.
work. I was going to mention it.
Yeah.
I really had to fight for it.
It's okay, Tom. It's okay.
It didn't make me sick like Top Gear Hyperbike.
No, that's
on
good.
the N64.
So that was a worthy 75 krona purchase on your
that's
behalf
something.
then.
Freaky Flies is fine.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's stupendous. Don't have to run out and buy it.
Yeah.
But it's actually very competent and enjoyable.
Okay.
Okay. What other games did I get last week? Rewind. Dead-Eye Jim. Does Dead-Eye Jim...
I thought you were rewinding then. I thought that's what was going on.
Did Dead-Eye Jim hold up, should I say?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess it
Yeah,
did.
it did. It was
I guess
not-
it did. It was hard to put down.
Exactly.
But at first I was like, oh yeah, it's actually that good, is it? We've got this image in our heads of this being this masterpiece. And really, it's very basic.
Well, I think it is our best worst game of all of those Phoenix games.
I
we
forgot you
subjected
could
ourselves
roll
to.
out of the way as well with
Yeah,
the
you
shoulder
can.
buttons.
Hey, man.
That really
Dead-
opened up the gameplay.
Dead-Eye Jim's got some things going for it.
And get the machine gun power up. That was quite nice.
Yeah,
It's incredibly easy to begin with. I did die though.
you did. So did I. Never beaten Dead-Eye Jim.
Dead-Eye Jim, pretty good. Downhill Domination,
Yeah.
the BMX type game.
DDH.
What? What's DDH?
No,
What does
DHD. Fuck.
What does DHD?
Ah! Downhill Domination. I'm shortening it to its
Oh.
abbreviated form in the way that is current and edgy for extreme
Exactly.
sports.
Exactly what I expect it to be. Nice presentation, nice menus, nice graphics. It plays like you'd expect. You double tap a couple of times X to get pedaling.
Yeah.
Bring up some speed, do some tricks, race some people. Cool. I like it.
How is the physics?
We've never ridden a BMX downhill. I've never ridden BMX. I don't think.
You've never
I
ridden
will
a
do
BMX?
soon because that's the bike I'm getting.
Oh, okay. You've never ridden a bike downhill.
Not BMX.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same as any other bike, Tom. It's just not got
It's got
gears.
small wheels.
Yeah, but it's got no gears. Like, it's the same free-flowing experience.
Hmm.
The wind in your hair.
It's quite
the sun in your face.
exciting riding a bike downhill. I won't say it actually represents the feeling of the wind in your hair,
Okay.
but it's exciting, fun game. I liked it.
If you were to buy a fan and put that in front of you while going downhill, do you think it would accurately represent?
I'm not going to buy a fan.
That's a damn shame. Damn shame.
We could use that with many games, couldn't we?
You could, yeah.
If you had a fan behind you.
Do you think anyone's ever made a fan peripheral for like any console? Like in the crazy days of like Sega making that a little hexagon that you would stand in and punch.
Or maybe for something like Outrun, because it's convertible.
Yeah.
The wind in your hair.
Yeah.
That might be quite cool, actually. Yeah. Great idea.
Why is that not
Anyone
a
out
thing?
there listening, please make a game peripheral which reacts to the game And because they have these, I saw a review about this thing for a sofa where you put it under one of the legs of the sofa, and it vibrates a whole sofa.
Okay.
And some films have it in their code apparently on their Blu-rays.
Yeah.
For when you go and see them in certain
cinemas, with
the
force feedback in the chairs. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting.
But this one doesn't work like that exactly. You can get devices which work off that programmed force feedback. Or this thing, it just reacts to the volume, the bass. So if the bass is big enough, it like a dinosaur would roar in Jurassic World, for instance, and it would shake your sofa up and down.
Doesn't react to your treble though. No treble.
No, probably not.
That's a shame.
So what are we talking about? Oh yeah, so a fan.
Yes.
That'd be cool. It's the same thing. You have programmed to the game. The fan would whoosh.
If only we could have come up with this concept like a month and a half ago, we could have saved Mad Cats, Tom.
I bet we could.
Yeah, let's get on the phone to them. Let's see what Hori's doing. Hori, I know you're making fight sticks, but listen, fan peripherals are going to be the next big thing. Mark my words, you heard it here first. Tom Attack 2017.
Bit sad news, though,
What's
from
that?
the games I bought last week.
What's that, Tom?
Eve of Extinction.
Quality looking title, rated 5 out of 10 on IGN at the time. Yeah.
Didn't play.
Wouldn't
load properly.
Might be a saving grace, Tom. Might just be a saving grace.
Yeah, but now I'm left with a game that I'll have to return it if I can. I tried to return it today, but I was a bit late. The shop had closed by the time I got there.
If you can't return it, I'm sure it would make a very attractive coaster. You could use it as a frisbee. You could do what like arty people did in the early 2000s and tie a lot of them. Like, get a load of other crap CDs and stuff you have that don't work, tie them on a mobile and put them in your window just so they catch the light and look quirky.
Yeah.
No? You're not feeling...
It's a bit tacky, isn't it?
You're not feeling this comedy Matt Vile vibes today, Tom Parry. What's going on?
Okay, I also played Micro Machines V4.
And how was that, Tom? Was that PSP. Also a broken experience?
A little bit. Well, the game's excellent, just like the PS2 game. But UMDs, you've had this problem with UMDs. They can get damaged quite easily. If the casing gets damaged, it can prevent the disc from spinning properly in your PSP. So I had that problem with it, and I felt quite happy with myself afterwards because I was able to take apart the UMD and put it back together again properly. Yeah. So it was working a lot better afterwards. I had one hiccup afterwards, but I think it's all right now. And I wouldn't want to come out and say that if you want a Micro Machines for your PSP, Micro Machines game, then great game. Yeah, really V4? Good. All right. V4 is a great game. It's very hard. Yeah. I'll give you that. It's the challenge is certainly there. It's hard to beat the other cars. There's no like easy entry level races. You get in there and it's a challenge. Okay.
As to your question about the state of my PSP collection, I don't necessarily have a big PSP collection. I have a handful of JRPGs for the system, like Star Ocean and the Kingdom Hearts games, and one or two others, like the Tales games you can buy for the PSP. And I've been very, very afraid of buying PSP games. Because, as you are experiencing with this particular title, I've heard a lot of horror stories of people's PSP collections over the years. The glue in the games is starting to separate and fuck up the game.
I've only experienced this once before in my copy of Loco Roco. Yes, the same thing happened.
Yes.
Came unglued a little, but I'd say the majority of my games I bought new for PSP. Yeah. I was my console at the time. I was very into it at the time. It was popular and I was buying a lot of games for it. So thankfully, I think the rest of my collection's okay. What I don't like though is how the UMDs are in the case, held in the cases. That mechanism is quite, you have to prise the UMD out. Yes. If it's come a little bit loose, for example,
it's probably
you
not
prise it out, you can tear you can start to pull the two sides of the casing apart from each other. Yeah.
I mean, you could just get those little clamshells, right? Wasn't there like a thing you could buy to put your PSP games in, so when they were in your case, like similar to the thing that came with all Game Boy games? Mm-hmm. I seem to remember there was a record studio back when young teenage Matt Boyle had a band. They had PSPs in this studio, and they had it was all like promotional only copies or whatever. I think the guy worked for Sony at some point, so they had loads of stuff, and they had little like plastic cases, the same way you can get them for the DS and everything else. Like
that would be a much better way
things
to
clap
keep them. I could actually invest in that, because if I wanted to be actively taking the disc in and out, I think I'd be concerned about damaging them at this point. So great idea. I have a little wallet with a zip on, a Lemmings branded thing. It's Lemmings branded little case thing where you put all the discs in.
Oh, you're into Lemmings?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Great version of Lemmings on the PSP, actually.
Is it the same version as the PS2 one?
Yes.
Same cover art.
I'm pretty sure it is. It's very close, if not exactly the same.
Okay, interesting. I would not say no to a portable version of that game.
Lemmings,
yeah.
You can get it digitally as well. That's probably advisable. Play it on your Vita.
That's true.
There was that game Lemmings Touch.
Did it touch you?
No, not really. It was a bit fiddly.
That's a shame.
As a Lemmings fan, it's a bit of a disappointment. Shame it wasn't a physical copy of it, though.
Interesting that.
Physical copies.
Physical copies, Tom, is the topic that you brought to this podcasting table today.
Because I've been thinking about this a little bit lately, and I have a reasonably comprehensive digital library of games on my 360, my PS3, my PS4, my Xbox One, right? Yeah. Okay, and I'm reasonably happy with that. I don't feel like I need to own the majority of these games physically. But, there are a lot of questions raised by digital games. For example, if you had to delete them for whatever reason, you would need to re-download them. If the service was not there for you to re-download them, like I feared recently with the Wii Shop.
Yes.
Which is absolutely fine. It's more to do with your internet settings than anything else.
If you have an open or a closed NAT.
So, but for example, if that shop was to disappear.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
But I mean, this is a larger concern anyways, isn't it? There's always this talk of people who were heavy iTunes users a couple of years ago. Their dad passed away.
Yeah, it goes beyond.
And then where is the rights for those then?
Yeah.
But I mean, actually, there's a weird thing with video games in the fact that even though you own a physical disc of that game and you own a physical cartridge, there's something in the rights of software in general that says you are not purchasing that software, you are only obtaining a license to play those games.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, theoretically speaking, they're perfectly within their rights to turn off the Wii Store, and then if you haven't got those games, then tough cookies, it's on you.
Yeah, but that would be very irritating.
It would, and I mean, it would probably cause mass consumer backlash. I mean, that's the world we live in, though.
Because of digital updates, sometimes games don't play. For example, what's it called? Ridge Racer Unbounded. If you're connected to the internet, it won't play because it needs to update, and the update, something's wrong. It can't update.
Really?
And you can't play it at all unless you go offline.
Okay.
I thought that's quite interesting. But what if the game... it wouldn't work, was it? If you're offline, you're always good, aren't you? Usually.
Well, I mean, there are certain games you cannot play without being online. No Man's Sky, I believe, is one of them. Destiny is obviously another example of something that is massively online and you can't really play offline.
So a digital version in that case is makes sense.
Well, you may as well have one anyway. I mean, when you look at PlayStation 4 software and Xbox One software, as I've mentioned on this podcast before, I think this is probably the generation that's probably broken me on my need for physical media. I don't necessarily think if my PS4 jacks in and I need to get one with a bigger hard drive, I might start to shift towards digital games there. Only if the price is right, however.
Yeah, I'm exactly with you on this, because I will not buy a game digitally for more than I could buy it physically.
No, fuck that. Why?
Why bother? There's a convenience to that.
Yeah.
But I'm someone who doesn't like to pay more than I should for something.
No,
I know how much something is worth, and I'm not willing to pay over the odds just because I don't want to get up and go down the shop.
Yeah, exactly.
What I mean? And I also like physical media. I am a supporter of... I still buy CDs physically. I like physical media.
Yes.
But occasionally there'll be an indie game pop up on the store for next to nothing. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'll buy that for £1.
Yeah, why not?
I'll buy Coffin Dodgers for £1.
Yeah.
A lot of these games actually aren't available physically. But now
No.
more so, you're seeing places that limited run
Yeah.
providing the opportunity for you to purchase a physical copy.
Yes.
Physical copy of Octodad, for instance, physical copy of whatever. But there's that. I'm not sure about that myself. I'm not sure I would want to go out of my way to own a physical copy of any of these particular games unless I was a massive collector. And I'm not only a massive collector of fighting games, Lemmings games, Worms games. So I think if it was something like that, I might want to fork out for a physical copy. But if it's just a game I'm curious about and want to have a go on, I don't feel I need to have that physically. I'm quite happy with a digital version at the right price as well.
I mean, it depends on the game for me.
It's the game. It's game by game basis, but I think some people just prefer in general to have a physical copy and are very anti digital games and will refuse to buy digital because they like to know they own the game. You know, I own this now because I physically own it. Sony just can't take this away from me. Although, with the amount of software you have to install now, that is becoming a bit more of a grey area.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, you're saying you would buy a game if you were a fan of the franchise physically as opposed to digitally.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this in the podcast before. The only game I've purchased from Limited Run is Oddworld New and Tasty, because I am a huge, huge fan of the Oddworld games.
It's nice to put in your collection, I guess, of Oddworld games, if you have one.
I've pretty much, I think I have every Oddworld game released except maybe the spin-off of Munch's Odyssey on the Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
I think it's probably the only one I haven't got because I never saw it back in the day.
It's quite nice to have physical collections of games you really love.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I really liked the first Oddworld game as I experienced when playing it through in New and Tasty. I didn't realise how fucking hard that game actually was.
Did you complete it?
I did beat New and Tasty, yeah. I didn't get the best ending. I got, like, the okay ending.
I think we talked about this, yeah.
I don't care. There's not enough time in the day for me to exploit every little, like, oh, you need to save scum here if this person dies, otherwise you can't get the good ending, and oh, you need to save like 70 people in this section that only takes like 10 minutes usually, and go and find all these hidden doors and stuff.
This is an interesting one, though, because we're talking about a game which actually already exists.
Yes.
You know, you can have Abe's Odyssey physically already on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Is it then that important to have another version of the same game physically? Or because it's essentially the same game, I know it's very different, at least visually, to just have a digital copy because technically you already own it physically.
Are you asking me this question, or are you asking yourself this question, Mr. I own 7 million copies of Worms?
That's Worms. But is Oddworld a franchise for you where you need to... I guess it is, from what you say.
I mean, not necessarily. It's just, it kind of ended up that way because I like the series.
Because I have it, but it was free on PlayStation Plus, so
yeah,
I was quite happy just keeping that copy sitting it on the hard drive.
I mean, to be honest, I bought this before it was free on PlayStation Plus. Perhaps if I already owned it free, I wouldn't have got it. I was like, well, you know, I could pay... It was like 12 quid or whatever. I could pay 30 for a physical copy.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just buy the physical one.
And it's a real shame that Limited Run... Well, their name does describe what they do.
Yes.
But for those who like to maybe have complete collections of things, I don't know if anyone's going for a complete PS4 collection. I think probably is.
Yeah. Undoubtedly, there's also people going for complete Vita collections.
Really difficult. Yes, Vita's another one for people to actually complete their collections when they have these games that, they exist. They can be considered part of the games collection. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and they might not be able to get hold of them for it'd be a lot of money. But there's always been games like that which may have had a limited production run, which are always going to be rare. But now we're seeing so many. They're releasing so many games. That's a big chunk of the library for that console that is very expensive to obtain if you didn't buy them when they first came out.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing, right? Because I think how the market is the Vita especially is a console that already a year ago when I was even toying with the idea myself, I could see people going, hey, I'm going to get a full set of Vita games. which was automatically raising the price of Vita games second-hand because people were trying to buy bulk loads of Vita games very, very early on. Same with the Wii U, actually. I think that's another one that's going to start to do this now.
Because it's a size of a collect. It's reasonable, reasonably sized.
It's not too bad
if you want to go that way and collect all of them.
I mean, the Wii U is like 140 something games at current recording time. Like, it's not that big a set compared to anything else. I mean,
but still, that's expensive.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, you know, if you go to car boot sales or if you go to wherever, you know, if you go into like a second-hand electronics store that's got some mum cashing all of her son's Wii U games because he didn't want them and now he wants a PS4 like his mates, then it's not really that bad. If you pick them up at a reasonable price, if you're not paying the £40-50 that games retail at when they launch, I mean, most of the Wii U games I have on my shelf, short of the cherry-picked Nintendo titles that I definitely want to own in my collection, like Adventure Time, it's just been very, very small price points, like £10 at the most for some of those games. But that's how it goes.
Some are more expensive, though, now. Actually, it's interesting you mentioned the Wii U. I was looking for a copy of Tank recently.
Yeah.
It's getting pricey now.
Yeah.
And that was a game which was, like, at the beginning, there's funny, quite a lot of them around. But I guess he didn't get reprinted.
Well, no, I mean, nothing really did on the Wii U other than
it's
Nintendo
an old
titles.
game now, isn't it? It's like it's gone the way of Game of Wario, I suppose, which was earlier game, which is now hard to get hold of because they're not producing them anymore.
But I mean, it's also not a very good game. So
there
is also that.
And that's always been my thing about full sets. You know, I'm not interested in owning games which I'm
How
not going to play.
How many 64 games do you own, though?
I own half the library, 100 and something.
Yeah,
games.
130 games or something around there. Right?
And among those games, they're all games. I didn't buy any games just because, I've never seen that before, I need to buy it.
Yeah.
I've always had an interest in trying the game, and I don't see myself any time in the future just picking up a game because, I've never seen that before, I should buy it. With no interest in what it is, you know.
It's kind of where my curiosity with Game Boy stuff starts, so once you get to that stage, you're kind of buggered.
Yeah. But yes, we've gone a little bit off topic. But yeah, it's something that I'm in the middle on this digital game thing.
Yeah.
Because some games, yes, I would like physically. I love a physical copy of Sonic Mania when that comes out. Not going to happen at the moment because I don't think anything's been announced.
No.
But I'd love a copy of that. But in general, I'm very happy to get digital games at a good price because I feel like I'm saving money. And I'm happy about that. But there'll usually be games which are indie games. If a game is bigger, like Yakuza 0, for instance, I see that on the sale. Or like a game I picked today, One Piece Burning Blood, if I see that digitally on sale, I'm an hour about that because this is a game I can go down the store and buy, maybe for cheaper than this digital version. So I'll say no. But if it's a game like Shovel Knight, Shovel Knight is physical, isn't it? But I bought Shovel Knight digitally at the beginning, and I'm all right with that. Maybe not the best example, but yeah, any cool indie game like, for example, Everyone's Gone to the Rapture.
Yeah,
I bought that because there was no other way of buying it. You know?
Yeah,
and would I be that bothered about getting it physically?
See, like
I did buy the soundtrack.
There are games like that for me. Rapture is one of them.
Rapture's a great game to have it on a disc, maybe, because then you have it for life and you can look at that on your shelf and remember what a wonderful experience you had.
Fez is the one for me that I still regret because Fez had a like £100 digital. It's a cube, contains art books and like interviews and everything else. It's a really nice limited edition that was made by Polytron themselves, I think, in association with I Am 8-Bit, which is another website that does these limited run games. They recently did Res Infinite for the PS4 and Vita. Oh, not for the Vita, sorry, they're doing something else for the Vita.
Yeah, I bought Res digitally.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I already owned the game physically on Dreamcast. So that's one.
But like that, Fez for me is one game I wish I owned a physical copy of. I've bought that game pretty much on every system. I have it, I could possibly buy it on. I have it on the PS3.
It's nice that it's crossplay though, isn't it? Yeah.
I have the Xbox 360 original release of it. I also think I have it on Steam now I think about it as well. I have that game in a variety of places because for me it's one of the best games ever made. I would like a physical copy. It's probably never going to happen.
You won't lose sleep over it.
No, exactly. But I mean, it's not something I really think about. Damn, I wish I had a physical copy. I do.
It will be nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also the thing of, hey, when I look at my 360 library, it's just like, okay, cool. I'm glad they have Xbox One backwards compatibility support now, because this is a notoriously bad console for its lifespan.
Good point, this, actually, because if you... Yeah, no, digitally you'd still be able to play it, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, fortunately, the physical discs are going to stay around a while. This whole talk of disc rot on the internet is a bit overfraught. It'll still last for 30, 40 years. It will be a very long time before you see active disc rot.
The only disc rot I've experienced myself has been on a CD from, I think, the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
The Tony Banks CD.
Okay.
Soundtracks, it's called, I think. And that is developed a strange yellowish colour.
Yeah.
And doesn't play very well anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. But I've never held it up in the light and seen like the holes.
Yes.
Apparently this is how they can get.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not so concerned about that. But yeah.
Me neither. Oh well, that's how it goes.
But yeah, it's an interesting topic, isn't it? It seems to come up a lot in conversation in podcasts and online and such. And people are very passionate about owning physical copies, and I understand that totally. But I think I don't feel I have to own everything physically. I'm quite happy to have that option to spend a little less, take advantage of something in the sale. It won't stop me from buying something really cheap if it's the right price.
Yeah, same here. That's how it goes, though, right?
Yeah. So if you ever thought what Tom and Matt thought about digital games, then
there you go.
There you go. There you have it. Your curiosity will be
quenched
like
a refreshing beverage in your ears.
You've been playing anything, Matthew? Because you
I have played one game this week, Tom
were
Parry.
concerned you had nothing to talk about this week.
Yes, this game is right in front of me. I picked
That's a
up,
Game Boy.
It is. It's a Game Boy Color in the berry color, i.e. the pink one of the Game Boy Color
I love
logo.
the creative names Nintendo chose for colours.
Yes.
What's the purple? Do you know?
Oh shit, I can't remember.
Neither can I.
No.
But the purple has a name.
The purple,
they all have a name.
I believe it is berry, grape, lime.
Grape is the purple, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, what the fuck is the name of the yellow one? Because the blue is the teal. I can't remember what. I guess the yellow one's probably just called yellow. I don't know if it has a special name.
Watermelon is a colour, isn't it? They use transparent green.
Yeah, it's watermelon, and they tend to do this a lot. But I picked up this because I was actually lacking a pink Game Boy Color.
Can I touch it?
You can, Tom.
Can I touch your berry?
You can touch my berry all you want. Don't flick it.
That's quite a nice condition Game Boy Color.
It is, yeah.
Reasonable.
No scratches or anything. But it actually also came with a game that I did not have, which is a black art called Klustar, which is developed by...
I can confirm it's called Klustar.
Rebellion, a British studio by two dudes. And it is essentially, Tom... I thought for a moment, while first playing it, that it was going to be the Sport of Champions, because you see, Tom, it is the true Tetris 2.
No way, man.
Essentially, what you are is you start as a small block. You're able to move around the screen, and you will get
nice title graphics.
It's got all your favourite songs in it. It's got Yankee Doodle. It's got Camptown Races.
Really?
Everything else that is royalty free and easy to implement into a Game Boy game.
What's going on here?
So essentially, you will have tetrominos flying at you from the sides, and then you can press A and B to rotate. And so these things are coming in at you from the sides, and you're trying to make 3x3 squares instead of lines in Tetris.
So once you add something to it, you can move that. You can't move... Yeah, you can move the thing you're adding to.
Yes.
As opposed to the individual pieces that are flying in.
Yes.
So then you can twist and turn that thing you're adding to.
In an attempt to line them up and create a block of 3x3. Now, as quick as I was to make it into the Sport of Kings, there are some issues with the game.
It's incredibly simple.
It is. It does get very fast and very complicated. Unfortunately, also, you have to bear in mind the fact that once you get to a certain size, you cannot rotate your block anymore.
Oh, yeah. So you got to try and keep it reasonably small.
Yes. You have to try and keep it very much in the center of the screen as much as you possibly can.
Oh,
Also, if you miss a piece, which you've probably just discovered, you can't actually, let it click against anything that isn't solid. So if you had like a straight line Tetris piece coming off your centerpiece, you'd have a 5-pixel long wall. If you tried to like mash your block up against the back of a moving block, that doesn't actually work. You need to stop it in front of it and stop the momentum.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
And if it doesn't, it hits the side of the screen, and then forever, anything that comes in where that block hit will add to it creeping into the screen.
Oh,
So
I've actually not done that yet.
That happens once, though, it will start a chain of events that will mean you will lose the game. So you pretty much...
so you kind of want to make it attached to your...
yeah.
If you can.
But of course, that's a detriment to you then, because if you start adding bits
too
willy-nilly, you will make it too big.
Oh, yeah,
so
now one's at the side. Oh,
yes.
Shucks.
And it gets very complicated.
So do you find that games are over quite quickly?
I played it for a good 15 minutes earlier. There will actually start to be a point where when you start clearing out 3x3 shapes or 4x4 shapes, you will get to a point where all of the things will start collapsing in on itself. And I couldn't actually find out a rhyme or reason of how that happened and why. You know, they don't all like merge together, obviously, because then you'd clear off your block. But it's really odd.
Yeah, you have to stop the block coming across.
Yes.
Because if you can't do that, then it sticks to the side.
Yeah, and then you're buggered.
And then you can't turn the thing that you're adding to.
Yes.
Unless you can make it smaller.
Yes.
Which happened just then. Wow, can they all kind of fall into place after that?
Yeah, but there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like, they don't all fall in like and fill gaps. They kind of fall in, and then some of them are out.
They stick to the thing that's nearest to them.
Yes.
Wow, you got to play this game.
It's an interesting game. Like, I've never heard anyone talk about it. And I was like, okay.
And the name is actually quite Klustar. You're making a cluster.
Yes.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Not a bad little game, that,
Not a bad little game. If you can find this cheap, I think it's worth getting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got that with the Game Boy. Paid 200 krona for the Game Boy and the game. So I was like, okay, cool. Here's one of the last like 10 black carts I need. And it also has a Game Boy with it that I don't have. The lady also had a Pikachu Game Boy Color for like 30 quid. But it had all, like, I commented on this one. I was like, should I get that one? Shan't I get that one? I already have one. I don't need one. Maybe I can get it and someone else will want it, or I'll trade it or whatever. But someone immediately commented going, I want the Pikachu one.
I love Pikachu.
He's actually an older dude, so I guess he was just getting it for one of his kids.
All right,
so.
Okay. Nice. It'd be nice when you know it's gone to a kid who'll really enjoy it.
Yes.
That's what I like, the idea.
Because he bought all the other games that she had as well, and they weren't very good. They were like Tiger Woods Golf and...
Oh, I know you hate Tiger Woods Golf.
Oh, Cyber Tiger.
I love golf.
Every time I see Cyber Tiger, I think it's going to be something more exciting than a Tiger Woods game.
I can tell you Cyber Tiger on the N64 is not worth it.
Good.
Just play Mario Golf. They announced Everybody's Golf for the PS4. Finally, this game's been out in Japan, I think, for ages.
Yes.
And now it's getting released over here. And actually, I find I'm very excited because, I haven't got a golf game for my PS4 yet. So...
No,
because I've been holding out for this one.
You didn't get Rory McIlroy? No?
I have that on the Xbox One. Interestingly, digital, because the physical copy was too expensive.
Fair
enough. I wasn't that bothered about adding a physical copy of Rory to my shelf.
It's a shame, Tom. He needs new shoes.
But the thing going back briefly to the physical copy thing, sometimes I forget I've got a game if I haven't got it on my shelf. You buy it digitally, you get it on your console.
Yeah.
And you're going through your games one day. Oh, yeah. I forgot I had that. That's
cool. It happens. It happens.
When you got so many games. That's one thing I don't like. It's the same with movies. I like having movies physically. So when I decide, what am I going to watch this evening?
Yeah.
It's not like a Netflix scenario where you're like...
I'm fine with that, though. Like, with films, like, they are increasingly becoming less and less a part of my life in terms of, like, if we watch something, we will watch a series... Or if we watch a film, we will tend to watch it in the cinema. My fiancé is not actually the biggest fan of old films.
Really?
And so, for example, if I really feel like watching Big Trouble in Little China, as I did the other
That's not an old film. When you say old films,
yeah.
I thought you meant like
No, but I even mean like
films.
early 2000s. Like, if she's seen it or if it's an older film, she's not really that interested in watching it again. So if it is like a Big Trouble in Little China or a Thing or something like that, I will just watch it on my own.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then I'm like, well, do I need a physical copy for that? The privilege of watching something on my own one time. Anime.
Well, you want to watch them again, like Big Trouble in Little China is something you really love. And
Yes.
you borrowed my copy because you wanted to watch it again.
Yeah, because I didn't actually own a physical one, because leading back to what you were saying, it's always been on Netflix, so I've never needed to buy it. And
we can't rely on Netflix.
No, you can't.
And also, I was looking for a bunch of films on Netflix the other day.
Yeah.
I was sitting down. I don't think I could be bothered to search for a film. So Netflix came on.
Yeah.
And I had a list on IMDb of things I don't own already and want to see. And I thought, I'll go through all these. I went through about 10 films.
I say
was
this.
Nothing there. All the films I want to watch are on Netflix.
I say this in the nicest possible way, Tom. You have a very, very niche taste in films sometimes.
I could not find what I wanted,
No.
and that disappointed me. That's why I don't have Netflix. I just,
Yes.
I just use someone else's.
That you legally pay for, clearly.
Yes, of course. We use it together.
We would never do that. Yeah, but I mean, also you'd have the disadvantage that a lot of films you would want to see are probably foreign, and they would have Danish subtitles, which would also undo you.
Sometimes there's that problem.
Yeah. A lot of the time there's that issue for me where I see something, oh shit, I always wanted to see that movie. Oh wait, actually, Itchy the Killer's got Danish subtitles.
Yeah.
Never mind.
This game though, Klustar, try it out.
Yeah, you're hankering for some Klustar now.
I love that. I
it's
thought that
good, isn't
was absolutely great. Is that on the store, eShop?
I think it may have also come out on the N64.
No, it doesn't.
Did it?
No, I can tell you now it doesn't.
You sure?
No.
You know that library like
I
the
know
back
that.
of your hand,
I know
Tom.
that library pretty well. It didn't come out PAL.
Yeah.
At least.
Maybe
I know that.
Maybe you need an American 64, Tom.
No,
Yeah,
I don't.
You
No,
do.
I don't. I tell you what.
Play Mega
We're
Man
talking
Legends,
about the N64, aren't we?
Play Ogre Battles, yeah.
I played a game this morning that reminded me of my N64 years.
That's interesting.
The game was Ukulele.
Oh, really? How was that?
Pretty great. I found it very hard to put down.
Interesting.
So I'd say a little bit about Ukulele. My experiences playing it for about an hour this morning were very good. I loved the flow of the game, actually, and the way it introduced the elements, because they're very familiar to me, having played Banjo-Kazooie, but I think for someone new to one of these games, the actual beginning of the game is really user-friendly and accessible and explains how you do things really well without feeling like a forced tutorial.
Yeah.
Story is relatively simple, which is actually quite nice. Doesn't spend ages in cutscenes trying to tell it. It actually throws you into action pretty quickly. Visually, it's very nice, I'd say. I love the colourful nature of it is fantastic. It's staying very true to its roots. You know, as soon as you open the thing up, you've got that save slot thing, like in Banjo, and you scroll across, and it's a different scenario tied to each saved slot. And that was like, I hadn't seen that yet, and I was like, oh, that's nice. That reminds me of Banjo. And you'll keep getting this, oh, that reminds you of Banjo. Sometimes you think, for example, in cutscenes when they're talking to each other and it's doing the sound effect, you think, okay, now we're at a point where maybe we could do with voice acting in this.
Yeah.
It's not a detriment to the game. It's very nostalgic to hear them going rap, 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 rap. But it was never something about Banjo-Kazooie I was absolutely in love with.
Yes. Something you've often taken the piss out of, actually.
And, it could get irritating for some people who don't have the nostalgia for Banjo-Kazooie. I imagine to be quite difficult on some people's ears, right?
That's probably why not many people listen to this podcast.
So yes, I think we're at a point now where it would have been nice for full voice acting. And just like my problem with Mighty Number 9 is characters don't really animate when talking.
It's a shame.
You know, they do a few actions here and there, but they're not emoting a lot, which is, I think it's a shame for such, nice characters, nice character models, and nice animation in game.
Yeah.
That in cutscenes they're not actually moving a lot is a bit of a shame.
That's a shame.
As you can tell, these are very minor gripes so far.
Okay.
I really like it. There's a few little twists on the formula. For example, a few different ways to collect the pages, which are your new jiggies in this game. So even the terminology is very similar. Mm-hmm. You find part of a pagey sometimes, and to get the full page, you have to find separate bits of it. So there's even more collectibles. If you don't like collecting things, you're probably not going to be into this that much.
Yeah.
But if you're someone who loves collecting stuff, then progression's really good. You collect 30 of the quills, which are like the notes, and then
Yeah.
you can get to learn a new move. This is where it's a little bit different. It's not it kind of lets you choose which move you want to
Yes.
learn at a point, which I really liked, actually.
I feared it's actually to the detriment of the game, though.
It could be, because as you go through the level, you see several things that you can't interact with, and you
Yes.
wonder why you can't interact with them, but then the game's already taught you that you probably need to learn the move.
Yeah.
So then you have to collect more quills in order to learn the move. So you can only do certain things depending on what moves you've got. So far, I found that to be fine. I liked that it was a little bit different. But this game hasn't really evolved so much. I think games probably have evolved a little bit more. So it's in this fine balance of providing nostalgia, but then trying to give a game experience that feels fresh. And maybe it doesn't do enough to kind of update the formula.
Yeah.
I'd argue that. But then I'm a huge fan of Banjo, and I can still go back and play that game now
Yeah.
and really enjoy it. I have heard that the levels in Yooka-Laylee are very large.
Yes.
There's a criticism I had of Banjo-Tooie, actually. I love the more self-contained Banjo-Kazooie levels.
Mhm.
I felt in Banjo-Tooie you could get a bit lost and not really realise where you have to go, what you have to do.
Yeah.
And I'm fearful that might happen a little bit in Yooka-Laylee. So far, it's been plain sailing, and it's been really good experience. I don't know if you little tasks like a little race I had to do. I really like that.
Yeah.
It's so similar to Banjo that it's very good. Camera is a bit iffy.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure the camera is worse than Banjo-Kazooie or not.
I've heard worse than.
I am leaning towards maybe worse than Banjo. It does get stuck on things occasionally. But not so much so it's really affecting my experience. It just doesn't feel it's flowing in as smooth. It's not smoothly following the character. It's a little bit stiff, but it's not terrible. It doesn't break the game.
Yeah.
You know, if you not yet at least. If you are a fan of open 3D platform games like this, you're gonna lap this up. You know. It's got so much character and fun and brightness and playability and exploration, and I really like it so far. We'll wait and see if the experience gets dull after. I don't think it will, or frustrating in any way. I can't imagine it will, because as I say, this morning I didn't want to stop playing it, but I had to go out and do something, as is life.
Exactly.
So that would be my mini review and first impressions of Yooka-Laylee.
Okay.
There's been some criticism on the characters, I suppose, that they're not as very interesting or a bit bland.
Yes.
I think they're colourful. I really like the colours chosen for the main characters. I don't feel like they have as unique, well-thought-out personalities as Banjo and Kazooie. Not even that theirs was particularly...
No.
But Kazooie was a bit hot-headed, a bit irritable.
Banjo was a bit dumb.
Banjo was a big dumb bear.
Yeah.
You know, you got that. It's less obvious. You don't really know much about them at first.
Okay.
Yooka-Laylee just seems... Oh, Yuka, sorry. Just seems pretty laid back and not particularly interesting. Laylee has a little bit more fast-talking personality. That's kind of like Kazooie, I suppose, but not as strong as that characterization.
Yeah, that's a shame.
I like the villain. Villain's got a nice design. There's a character called Trouser Snake.
Yeah.
Well, he's called Trousers, I think, or Trouser.
And he's
a snake. So the adult will put the two together.
Yeah.
There are some great little lines in there as well of dialogue in the script.
Okay.
Some of it's a bit wordy. It goes on a little long sometimes, but those nods to video games and how things have evolved. For example, about when you get the pagey and it's split up into several bits before you can get voices. Back in the old days, you used to be able to just pick up one collectible rather than having to pick up. You know, it does reference itself, and it doesn't take itself seriously. And
okay,
it's good. It's all good so far.
I'm very curious to play it because what's not all good is the fact that I still, again, have not received my fucking Kickstarter code for a game.
So if you're listening now, Platonic...
please check your Kickstarter messages because I'd like to be able to play that game. Let's say. Anyways, any more from you? Bought anything else? Played anything else?
I mentioned I picked up One Piece Burning Blood.
Yeah.
Which is a book. It was a fighting game.
I bought a copy of Maniac Mall, which is a Phoenix PS2 game, which is, I believe, a bit like Pipe Dreams, and a copy of Battlefront 2 for the PlayStation 2. But I left them in work, so I haven't played them yet.
I've been playing Tomb Raider Definitive Edition.
Yeah.
Bought as a digital copy.
Okay.
Because it was dirt cheap.
Also,
£6, I think.
Yeah, that's not bad. Also worth saying, when I say Battlefront 2, I mean the PlayStation 2 Battlefront 2, and not
that new
the
one that's
new
coming
Battlefront 2, which is called Battlefront 2 in exactly the same fucking way as the first one.
Yeah, that's,
as if to cause confusion, as if they were trying to write over the memory of the old Battlefront games by having Battlefront 2 with Roman numerals the same way as the first game did. Put a fucking number after it. Just at least, like, for people who run databases and people who talk about games a lot.
Yeah.
Just put a fucking regular 2 after it. That's
Yeah,
all
regular
you need
2s
to
are like
do.
the plague, aren't they, for developers?
Yeah.
Want to put a 2 on there. It's like with movies, they want to put a subtitle. They don't want to make a numbered sequel.
Yes. But I mean, they did. They just did it with Roman numerals, which,
Yeah.
again, is the same way they did it for the PS2 one.
Yeah, it is. So when you see the games in lists, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
which is
It's just
what
like,
you need to put the console behind it to know
but now
which version.
Now you're going to have that shitty film problem, aren't you? We're just going to have, like, Battlefield 2, 2004.
Yeah,
Battlefield 2, 2017.
Or Sonic the Hedgehog, when that was remade in 06.
Yes.
Which is Sonic 06.
Sonic
but it's referred
06.
to as Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Which it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a name like Sonic the Hedgehog should apply to the best game and not maybe the worst game.
Yeah, and now it's going to be Battlefront 2, 2017.
Oh, it's all very confusing, isn't it, Matthew?
It is. Anyway.
I was mentioning Tomb Raider.
You were.
Briefly, I just wanted to ask you, because I'm a bit concerned about this. I was chatting to our mutual friend Cody, and he's also played this game quite a bit. And I really love the game, still enjoying it. I'm up to a bit further than I got to initially when I first played it on the PS3.
Are you going to commit to finishing it
I'm
this
totally
time?
committed.
Okay.
You know, if it wasn't for ukulele, I would have played that this morning.
Yeah.
But I'm going to finish this game. Matthew,
Good.
you heard it here first. But I'm worried that there's going to be a lot of circumstances where you're going to feel like you've almost escaped or almost finished the game, and then something happens and it gets to the point where maybe it's unrealistic, all these things that happen to prevent her from leaving.
Yeah.
Cody says he's tried to escape on a plane a couple of times, and both situations have gone the other way. So I thought, oh yeah, it could get a little bit like samey, a little bit like it's dragged out slightly.
I don't think so.
No, okay. Because I wouldn't have thought that myself from what I've played, because I've really been enjoying it. But there are several things that happen where you think you've done it, and then, oh no, you haven't really.
I mean, like, that will happen. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
That is a reoccurring theme of the plot of that game is, oh, Lara's going to get off the island. Oh, wait, no, she isn't.
But it never feels like it's being stretched beyond what it should be.
I don't think so. I don't think the game's that long if you actually sat down and played.
No, it doesn't seem to be that long, because I'm
same way I usually
30% through it, and I guess that's 30% through everything.
Yes, that is collectibles and everything else.
Yeah.
How was the last time you tried to escape?
Well, it was for me. It was only the signal and then the plane crashing.
Yeah.
Which I think is like the first thing.
I don't think there's that many other attempts, to be honest. The plane is the one that sticks out in my
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, and then the pilot. You're trying to find the pilot after that, and then the guys have got him.
Yeah.
You know, and then you start getting weird monster samurais.
Yeah, you're not that far away from the end of the game, I don't think.
There's a girl who's going to be sacrificed, and you're going to rescue her right now.
I think you're pretty much near the end of that game.
Really?
I think
feel like
so.
I've hardly played it. I must have played it more than I thought.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because I can't remember giant samurais, but then some of the stuff I'd done on the PS3, I can't remember having done on this version.
Okay.
Like, I feel like I'm further than I was, but there's like a big chunk that I can't remember playing. Like, I've missed a whole part of the game.
Maybe they cut some of it out. I don't know.
I don't know.
That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, what do you think of this NES Classic being discontinued?
I'm a bit gutted I didn't get one because they sold out everywhere.
I think it's a real shame because a lot of us was holding out when they got new stock in because we weren't going to pay through the roof for it from resellers.
Well, good
right?
news, Tom. Now you can pay 3 times as much as you would have paid before
Yeah,
Christmas.
now they announce this. It's like, no, don't say that. Don't say it's been discontinued because now everyone's going to try and sell it for the earth.
Yeah.
I didn't get one initially because I thought, well, I actually own a lot of these games already. Is there much point? But it is a nice, convenient way to have all those games together in one place through HD as well. You might not own all those games in HD, but something like Mega Man and such, you can get HD collections of that.
People also hacked it so that you could just put every single NES game on it as well, which would have been nice. If I ever see one, I will probably pick it up. I may actually look for a Famicom Classic while I'm in Japan, even though I hear that controller's teeny tiny.
Yeah, not for big,
strong, manly hands.
Manly hands.
Yeah.
But there's rumour now of the
Super NES Classic, yeah.
Which I'll wait and see what games are going to be on that. I don't have a big Super Nintendo collection, Matthew. Nor do I have a big NES collection, to be honest with you.
Right. Well, the obvious ones are Super Mario World, Super Mario All-Stars, F-Zero. Zelda will undoubtedly be on there. Donkey Kong Country, the first one, I would imagine. Maybe also 2 and 3. That's 7 games. I would say Star Fox, but I don't think so, because the Super FX chip is a fucking pain in the ass to replicate. I will say it for the sake
Chrono
of this.
Trigger?
If they have Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy 6 on there, maybe even Secret of Mana, I'm buying one the first day it comes out.
Mega Man X?
Shadow of a doubt.
Super Castlevania?
Super Castlevania 4 will be on there.
R-Type?
Super R-Type might be. Contra 3 definitely will be.
Yeah.
There is no Super NES without Contra 3.
Any of the Kirby games?
They might,
do you think Superstar?
They might put like Avalanche on there or something. I don't know. Like maybe they put the Kirby's Fun Pack. Actually, would probably be the one they put on.
That'd be a nice one.
Yeah, it's got a compilation of games.
Yoshi's Island.
Yoshi's Island will definitely be on there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what the first party. Super Metroid will clearly be on there.
Yeah. How do we miss that one?
Especially you're facing my shelf with a giant box on top of it.
Oh.
It's over there. Actually, you can't see it.
Mario All Stars.
Mario All Stars. Yeah.
Do you think that'll be on?
Yeah.
With World, would that be one? That would count as one game.
Yeah. It did come together after all, so I can't see why not.
Yeah.
Oh God, what else do you have? I mean,
Street Fighter.
See, why I'm reluctant to say
wouldn't
Street Fighter is because
the
the fucking Switch version.
Yeah.
But I can't see you selling that console without Street Fighter 2 on it.
It's a huge name in the catalogue for Super Nintendo.
I think you have to put Street Fighter 2. I would like there to be
Pilot Wings.
I would like there to be like Parodius. I would like there to be many games to that system, but I don't know.
No, we won't get Micro Machines on there.
You're not going to get Micro Machines on there.
That's a shame. That's for me. That was one of the key games of that era.
You're not going to get any of the Enix games like Soul Blazer, Terranigma, or
there's going to be some more RPGs in there.
Illusion of Time.
What about the side-scrolling shooters? Any more of them?
I mean, there's loads. I mean, there's like Super Turrigan. I mean, there's Cybernator. There's Axlay.
Because any more Konami games? They won't put licensed games like Turtles on there, will they? That won't get on there, will it?
God, if Turtles in Time is on there, man.
I doubt it because they won't get.
It'll never be on there, like 100% guaranteed. SimCity will be on there, I think, because the SimCity that's actually on there is developed by Nintendo.
Bomberman? 94?
I would love Super Bomberman to be on there. I really like that game. It's the one game I've played, Bomberman, where the boss fights actually work. I'm trying to think of other things. Like, do they go really obscure with it? Do they put Mario's Time Machine and Mario's Missing on there just because they're Nintendo things?
I don't think so.
Do you get stuff like Pac-Man World to try and like time some of that name recognition, even though it isn't really that good a game?
Will you get more than one of one series? You might get more Mega Man games than just Mega Man X.
It would be very good. Yeah, I don't think you're going to get Mega Man X.
Isn't that the first one on Super Nintendo?
It is the first one. No, there's 7. Mega Man 7 is the first one.
Of course there are. They're not
Super
always
Nintendo.
the X ones, are they?
I think you will probably get Mega Man 7 if you get any of them, but isn't only Mega Man 2 on the NES Classic?
Oh, it might be just one Mega Man game on there.
I think it would probably be 7. 7 isn't a very good game. I would hope it would be X. I would hope it would be X3 actually, but again, it's got a custom chip in it that's very hard to emulate. So it's probably the
This
same
might be
reasons you wouldn't get it.
problematic for the Super. And yes, but these are just rumours. Nintendo hasn't confirmed that they're doing this yet.
Well, I think, the license...
But the amount of rumours that there are, and the success that the NES Mini had.
I'm trying to think.
It's quite a fun thing to just wonder about, isn't it? And to guess what Nintendo might do. They won't put Killer Instinct on there because that's Microsoft now, isn't it?
It is. Well, I mean, you never know. I doubt they will, though. I don't think it's...
It was a Super Nintendo game at the time.
I don't think it's good enough to warrant being on there,
No, I'm not a massive Killer Instinct fan myself.
No. Oh, well, that's how it goes.
I can't think of any more at this moment. There's probably loads we're just totally missing, but...
There's tons. Like, if I were to get up and go have a look at my Super Nintendo collection, I'd probably be like, how the heck did we forget to mention this game?
Let's do that afterwards.
Yeah, let's do that to ourselves, and then next week we can say what these were. Anyways, okay, I guess we should wrap it up. This is an hour mark.
Any games you're looking forward to that are coming out soon? Are you going to be playing?
I'm probably not going to be playing any. I don't know. I'm kind of...
I'll keep playing Tomb Raider.
Slightly taking a break and playing a little bit of Persona because there isn't enough time to play Persona even at the moment.
Did you get your copy of Yakuza 0? Did you order it?
I did indeed. It's going to get delivered to the UK.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine too, so I'm not going to be playing that anytime soon.
Yeah.
Something we'll be playing soon is I'll be online playing Mortal Kombat X. My friend Gareth, who I play online with, has got that.
Cool.
Bought it recently. We were looking for a fighting game to play because we play Forza.
Yeah.
We play Call of Duty. But then we don't have a fighting game to play, and we used to really enjoy playing Soul Calibur together. And there's no new Soul Calibur, so...
You didn't think playing, like, Killer Instinct?
Killer Instinct?
Yeah, I mean, it's free to play.
I'm actually still not a big fan of Killer Instinct. But it's a good point. We never thought about it.
Yeah.
But Mortal Kombat, it's quite reasonably priced now, especially for the XL version.
Yeah.
So we picked up about 16 quid or something.
Okay, that's all right.
One thing that annoyed me recently is that new add-on for GTA, which is like Micro Machines, top-down racing.
Okay.
Right? GTA 5 this is.
Yeah.
I discovered recently that they for a long time now, they haven't been updating the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions.
That makes sense.
It makes sense, totally. I understand it, but then they ask you to pay again for a game you already own.
Yeah.
And the amount of extra content's come out for that since, it's like,
that's a
it's
shame.
a bit gutting, isn't it?
It is.
Because I would like to play some like.
I mean, a lot of the GTA Online content is mainly for the PC, and I guess it's only coming to
on consoles.
The PS4 and Xbox One as kind of a par for the course thing, because they're making shitloads of money off GTA Online on the PC, Steam store sales and things. That's how it goes.
But if I see that really dirt cheap, ever,
yeah,
I mean, that's probably only going to happen when they release a sequel.
No, man, I think you're probably in good stead to find a copy of GTA 4 pretty cheap.
5.
Yeah. Sure. I think that is car boot fodder. I'll keep an eye out for you.
Okay, cheers.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's wrap it up, Tom. It's an hour. Let's go play Jazz Punk.
Oh, yeah, we're going to try that.
Yeah, we are.
Matt tells me it's amazing.
I've heard it get Game of the Year, but when we watched the trailer for it, it looked a bit like South Park. We'll see.
On the N64?
Yes, on the N64. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you have liked this podcast, you can let us know in a variety of places. On Twitter at TMAcast, on Facebook at facebook.com/TomAndMattAttack, and in the comments of blastprocess.com and of those on TomAndMattAttack.com/podcast. If you are listening to this podcast in either of those places, you should really head on over to iTunes, where you can also download and subscribe to the podcast. And why not give us a cheeky rating while you're there? Let us know how much you've liked me babbling at Tom and Tom babbling back at me.
Or if you've taken offence to anything we said this episode.
Go.
Or others.
We don't see you talking like the Banjo-Kazooie characters. We actually see you more as the adults from Peanuts. It's less blah, 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 and more. I've just lost us some audience. I apologise. But if you do like this podcast, let us know. It's always appreciated.
Yeah.
And yeah, until next week, I guess.
Thanks
you can...
very much for taking time to listen to us.
Yeah, exactly. Can they find another parish pickups maybe on...
Possibly. I suggest keep an eye on our website, blastprocess.com. The website I set up with my good friends Dave and Mike many years ago.
Yes.
Which this podcast is featured on, as Matt mentioned. We're having a bit of a rebranding over there at Blast Process. There's also a YouTube channel, youtube.com/blastprocess, where there's videos from myself, as Matt mentioned, Parry's Pickups, which is where I talk about a few games I've picked up recently, my thoughts on them. Sort of like what we do here, but in a little bit more depth. I haven't always played the games when I've talked about them on here, but hope you will enjoy that.
Yeah.
So yeah, do check that out and let us know what you think of our rebranding, because say we're quite happy with it.
I like it. I think you did a good job.
Thank you.
Anyways, until next week then. It's a goodbye from me. Goodbye from you.
Oh, the premature game on then.
It was
Sorry,
a
Matthew.
premature-
All right.
Oh,
Do
man.
it again.
Right. It's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.
Yeah. Game on.
Yeah. Game on. Oh dear.
That's rubbish. Right. 1, 2, 3.
Game on!